Good morning, students. I am Dr. Ratika, the faculty of CSA department, as an associate professor in Saitm Institute of Technology and Management. Today, I am going to deliver the lecture on e-commerce subject. So, in in this lecture, we will cover about the e-commerce. So, let's start. It is the subject of our BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration. It's the final year subject. So, let's start with our BBA. Table of contents. We will cover the topic like definition of e-commerce, brief history of e-commerce categories, benefits of e-commerce, how e-commerce is helpful for business applications on online, and what are the interesting facts and figures we will cover in this slide. So let's start with the definition and brief history of e-commerce. Now, definition of e-commerce. E-commerce or electronic commerce is a process of buying, selling, transferring, or exchanging products, services, and or information via electronic network and computer is known as e-commerce. So, the exchange of goods and services for money is known as e-commerce. It based on buyers, sellers and producers. Buyers are those peoples with who have money, yeah you can say with money, who wants to purchase a good or services. Sellers are these are the peoples who offers goods and services to buyers, and producers these are the peoples who create the products and services that sellers offers to buyer. So exchange of goods and services for money is based on the buyers, sellers and producers. Buyers who want to purchase goods or services, sellers who want to offer goods and services to their buyers, and producers who create the products and services which offer sellers to buyer. Now, come to the history of e-commerce. In 1970s, e-commerce means the facilitations of you can say facility of commerce transaction electronically using technology such as EDI, that is electronic data interchange, and EFT, that is electronic funds transfer, which allows business to send commercial documents like purchase order or invoice electronically. Now, in 1980s, the growth and acceptance of credit cards, we use of ATM, that is atomic teller machines, telephone banking, airline reservation systems. In 1980s, we will use all of these. Now, in 1990s, the internet commercialized and users flocked to participate in the form of dot-coms or internet startups. So, in innovations applications ranging from online direct sales to e-learning experiences. And in 2000, more Europeans and American business companies offered their service through the World Wide Web, that is WWW, since people begins to associate a world called e-commerce in 2000. So these are the different types of e-commerce on the basis of business and customer. On the basis of business, it related to their organization, and on the basis of customer, it is related to their individual. In business, it is B2B, that is TPN, and B2C, that is Amazon. In customer level, that is C2B, which is Priceline, and C2C, that is the eBay. So we will learn about all B2B, B2C, C2B, C2C in our upcoming slides. We will learn one by one about the types of e-commerce. So let's start with the type of e-commerce, that is what is B2B. Now B2B stands for business to business. Now, what is B2C? B2C stands for business to customer. Now, what is C2C? That is a consumer to consumer. What is C2B? Consumer to business. What is B2A? That is a business to administration. And what is C2A? That is a consumer to administrations. So we will learn one by one. So let's start. First is B2B. B2B is the business to business e-commerce. Encompass all electronic transactions of goods or services conducted between companies. So producers and traditional commercial wholesalers typically operates with this type of electronic commerce. Here is the example diagram of B2B. So B2B means business to business, how raw interact with sales, raw materials, supply chains, transactions, market, businesses, all related to the B2B, that is business to business e-commerce. Second is the business to customer. The business to customer type of e-commerce is distinguished by the establishment of electronic business relationship between business and final consumers. So here is the example. You can say how B2B involve transactions between business organization and their consumers. So in this diagram you can say how seller business and how buyers. So how firstly it host produce details on internet. So user access the details or information related to their products, and then it place an order with the help of internet. We can access between user and the server, or they all e-commerce follow all the concept of clients and server model. So in first it produce details, the help of internet user can access, place an order and receive and dispatch again back to the customer. So it is the business to consumer model. Now next is the consumer to consumer. Consumer to consumer type of e-commerce e-compress all electronic transactions of goods or services conducted between consumers. So generally these transactions are conducted through a third party which provides online platform where the transactions are actually carried out. So it involves, so students, in this diagram you can see how C2C model involves transaction between consumers. Here consumer sells directly to another consumer. Here you can say consumer and consumer. It's a seller, it is the buyer. Means a host product with the portal and facilitator access their product informations, passes the order and the buyer product on the behalf of the buyers, and again sell the product to their buyer. So you can understand how consumer to consumer can interact with their goods and services between the two different consumers. Now next is the consumer to business, that is the C2B. There it is reverse complete reversal of the traditional sense of exchanging goods. This type of e-commerce is very common in crowdsource based products. So here is the diagram. Here you can see how consumer goods and services to their company, and how company can deal with the help of money to their consumer. So this is the example based on the consumer to business. Now next is the business to administration. So this part of e-commerce followed all transactions, so it encompasses all transactions conducted online between companies and public administration. So this is an area that involves a large amount and a variety of services, particularly in areas such as fiscals, social securities, employment, documents and registers. So where it related with their administration, business to their administration. Now next is the consumer to administration, and that is C2A. So in this model, all electronic transaction conducted between individual and public administration. So let's take an example about e-commerce. So first is education. First, education means distance learning, or you can say disseminations of information. You can involve in the education. Security through the distributions of information, making payments, taxes, filling tax returns, payments, etc. Health, appointments, information about illness, payment of the health services, all are the examples of e-commerce. Now here is the examples of B2C. B2C means like Amazon, Snapdeals, Flipkart. Here we have mentioned the link of Amazon. In C2C, that is eBay, OLX, Quicker. B2B, www.tpn.com. It is also a site you can visit and search one by one. C2B, priceline.com. So these are the examples of different type of e-commerce. So, what are the advantages of e-commerce to consumer? Think about consumer buys process such as searching, evaluating and executing. To business, think about the common objective of every business. Now, let's discuss about how should different departments participate in an e-commerce project like management, marketing, production, finance, finance, procurements, and customer supports. Let's take a diagram. So this is the transformation of compartmentalizations organization into integrated organization. Here is the management which manage different departments like production department, marketing department, finance department, personal department, and how these departments are related to their managements. So now this is a three-tier technical model where client side and these are the service system and backend both are the server side. So it follows the architecture of client server model. Now, architecture of web-based e-commerce system like client side and server side. In client side, client sends requests with the help of internet. Firewalls basically allowed for the security, and in server side it interact with intranet web applications or server application and related to their database. Database work as a backend. Now web server and application server. Web server you can say the intranet which we will use within our so we will use within our company. So that is the intranet, and internet is used all over the world. So how server side interact with client side? In server side you can see different intranet which related to their web servers, application servers. These are including the service systems, and database work as a backend of the system. So, the process of e-commercing, how e-commerce works. Order placed by user. Here is the user, order placed by user, shopping cart, then credit card is charged, means you will pay, then order is complete, then send an email is sent to customer and merchandise where it sends back, you can say order is sends back to their warehouses for fulfillment. And here is the dispatch, shipping carries pick up shipments where shipment sent to the customer. So it is the process how e-commerce work from buyer to the sellers, from goods to the services. Now what are the categories of e-commerce? Two major categories and other categories of e-commerce are. Now, two major categories are business to consumer, where online transactions are made between business and individual consumers like Amazon or eBay. Business to business transactions means make online transaction with other businesses. Now, other categories are consumer to consumer, that is C to C, and mobile commerce means m-commerce. So what are the benefit of e-commerce in the organization and consumer level? Benefits of organization is global reach, cost reduction, extended hours, maybe 24 into 7 or 365, customizations, and improved customer relations. What about the benefit of consumers? More products and services, cheaper products and services, instant delivery, information availability are the benefits on the basis of consumers. Now, business applications. Now, business applications in the form of email, instant messaging, online shopping and order tracking, online banking, shopping carts, software, teleconferencing, electronic tickets, all are the business applications of our e-commerce. What is online shopping? Online shopping is the process of buying goods and services from merchant who sells on the internet. Now, online consumer are eventually split between man and woman and tend to be a better education, younger and than more eloquent than the general populations. So, in online shopping, are the some advantages are 24 hours access, ability to com- comparisons of shops you can do it in home privacy and varieties. So, online shopping, the favorite website for shopping includes event tickets, online periodically subscriptions, flowers and gifts, consumers, electronics, travels, online shopping related to their different fields. Field should be anything else. Now, how online shopping works? As I have told you in the how e-commerce work, it is the same as how online shoppings are done. These are the buyers who order, then credit is charged, then order is completed and sent back to the mail to their customer or merchandise, then the warehouse where it will collect the material and shipping carry up with shipments and order dispatch to the customer. So it is the method, it is a process where online transactions are done. Now, interesting facts and statistics. Payroll. Every 1.2 second, a Canadian makes a purchase with their pay payroll accounts. In India, it is 10 seconds, and almost 20 per second of Indians make 3 or more online purchases per month till 2017. So, Canadians pay use online transaction in every 1.2 second. Indians use it 10 seconds, and almost all Indians make 3 or more online purchase per month is 20%. So in future it must increase day by day. Now next, these are the online stores. As you aware about the names, or students maybe you used all about these: Amazon, Snapdeal, Naptol, Homes, Home Shop 18s, eBay. Some of these are the online store in your computer screen or in your slide. Mostly you have used Amazon, is a very popular online shopping store as compared to the other ones. Now, models of an electronic exchange, how manufacturers related to their electronic exchange, how shoppers, how suppliers, how supplier banks are related to their electronic exchange models. So students, it's the model of an electronic exchange. You can see here manufacturers, shoppers, suppliers, supplier banks and manufacturer bank. So how they are related with each other, let's see one by one. In manufacture related to their raw material needs, purchase, order, shipments, and how they related with electronic exchange and customer order supplies back to their manufacturers. Shoppers, how shoppers send request for information, purchase order and payment information, and how they revert back to their electronic exchange, revert back to their shoppers. Same with suppliers. Suppliers related to their electronic exchange means manufacturing order information about raw material needs, and how suppliers shipment notice for manufacturing and payment request. In the supplier bank, how electronic exchange related to their payment request and how they revert back for the payment approval, electronic transfer of funds. Same with the manufacturing banks. Manufacturing banks have electronic exchange related to their payment approvals, transferring funds, how request back to their manufacturing banks, and these are the payment requests who approve their electronic transfer of funds. So how they are related with each other, manufacturing related with electronic exchange, suppliers related with their electronic exchange, supplier banks related to their electronic exchange, and how manufacturer banks are related to their electronic exchange. So these all functioning related to our e-commerce, which follows how goods and exchanging of goods and services with the help of online transactions also. Now, next is the electronic payment system. Electronic wallet, a computerized stored value that holds credit card information, electronic cash, owner identification, and addresses information. So, credit card, debit card, smart cards, online banking, and cash on delivery are the parts of electronic payment system. So, some services offered by like power of money, cash cards, cash on delivery with the help of Visa card, with the help of debit card. You can use these transactions on online transaction for buying and selling of goods and services. Now, little bit summary and conclusion. Before going to little bit summary and conclusion, we will firstly revise above slides like what we have covered in our slides. So let's see one by one. In the topic was e-commerce, was the introduction of e-commerce. Here in this we have discussed about different type. We have discussed, but firstly we have discussed what is e-commerce. Now, this is the definition of e-commerce on the level of buyers, sellers, and producers. Then we have learned about the little bit brief history of e-commerce in 1970s, 80s, 1990s, and 2000. Different type of e-commerces on the basis of business and customer. Then we have learned one by one about types of e-commerce. Now that is a B2B, B2C, C2C, C2B, and B2A and C2A. Now some examples related to their education, security, tax, and health. Some websites I have mentioned related to the type of e-commerce, whether it may be B2C, C2C, B2B, C2B. These all are the examples related to the type of e-commerce. Then we have learned about the advantages of e-commerce. Then we have discussed how management is helpful for e-commercing projects, where management related to the different field, maybe production, marketing, finance, customer support, related to the management, how they related, how they transform information, how they correlated with each other, then how they follows client and server architecture on client side or server side. Some architecture I have mentioned which is based on e-commerce. So how they follow the process of e-commerce or the same process of online transactions, online purchasing. So categories we have covered, two major categories like business to customer, business to business, and other like customer to customer and mobile commerce I have covered. We have covered the topic of benefits of e-commerce, how benefit is useful to organization, consumer, and some business applications we have covered in the slide, some online shoppings. Okay, what is the process of online shopping, how it works, how it is useful for buying and selling goods, some online shopping advantages, how online shopping is useful, how the process they follow, same process of e-commercing and same process of online shopping they follow. Then some interesting facts, how Canadians can purchase online and how Indians purchase online. Now, how the facts for the future increasing of these online impacts, that some online stores we have mentioned in the slide. Then the how models of exchanging electronic goods and services between manufacturers, suppliers, banks, manufacturing banks, how they correlated with their electronic exchange. Now some learn about the what are the electronic wallets, how they useful for credit, debit, smart cards, online on cash on delivery, some services offers. Now let's come on the summary and conclusions. The internet has leads to the birth and evolution of e-commerce. So e-commerce have now become a key component of many organizations in the daily running of their businesses. So as the internet and in turn e-commerce has developed E-commerce has developed and continues to evolve and grow, and it is a vital role for any organization in any particular industry must base its strategic planning around such a rapidly growing medium. So these are the conclusion and summary about introduction of e-commerce. So students, we have covered the main introduction part of the e-commerce. So thank you students. Thank you for your kind attention. Now in our next slide we will further cover more topics related to our unit 1. Thank you students. Thank you very much.